All right. So most of this training is going to be demo, so there's not a lot of slides, but I do want to just show you what the overall architecture of what we're building is, um, and just a quick overview of how it works. So what assistants are is different from what you've built on FlowXO before. So previously with the AI tools like the knowledge base or some of the other AI tools, you would still build a conversation flow using the flow builder. Um, and the flow builder would control the conversation, and then you could have the AI do specific parts of that, for instance, answering a question. With AI assistants, you don't usually have to build much flow logic. You describe how you want the assistant to work in just natural language in a prompt, and the assistant takes care of managing the flow of the conversation. Um, so that actually makes it quite a bit easier, especially for non-coding types, to build out the logic that they want, and we'll see what that looks like as we get into it. A couple of the other things that make assistants powerful is that they come with a built-in memory. So you are kind of able to cobble this together by loading a chat transcript before and feeding it into your prompt, but it only kind of worked. The assistants have just a built-in memory of the conversation. It can be up to 50 messages long. So that makes them able to keep context. And so when users ask follow-up questions that don't provide all the context, like, can you tell me more about that? The assistant will know how to respond, or it can refer back to previous parts of the conversation as necessary. And so the main component of an assistant is its instructions that tells it how to behave, but what gives its power and its abilities are its ability to use tools. And tools, as you'll see, are just pieces of functionality. They can be flows that you build. It can be knowledge base, reading a web page, a whole variety of different types of things. And the assistants will decide when the right time to use a tool is. And so that lets the assistants do anything that you could previously do in FlowXO, but in a generally much simpler way. And then another pretty powerful aspect of assistants is that they can use each other as tools. So, excuse me. Um, you What you'll generally end up doing as your assistants evolve and become more complex is you'll end up creating a suite of different assistants. And the reason for that is that AI is really smart, but just like a person, it can really only hold so many instructions at one time before it starts to get confused. So the best way to build these things is to pick different aspects, different workflows, put them into an assistant, and then have them use each other. Just like in a normal company, you would have specialists that do different aspects of a job, and they'll collaborate and coordinate with each other. So that's really what the assistants are. And then today we're going to be building a customer service assistant, not quite from scratch, but close. I had to pre-build some things in the interest of time, but we'll also share a template where you can load the whole thing, including all the flows that are used, into your account at once and play with it if you want to. So the goal of our customer service assistant that we're going to build today is to pretty straightforward answer questions about products and services, just like you would with a knowledge base, and then also have the ability to escalate any kind of support questions that the bot isn't able to answer, or if they're having trouble, can escalate to either a ticket or live chat. And the components that we're going to be using in this demo are the customer service assistant, the main assistant, that will be using knowledge-based tools, a HTTP tool to call out to an API, be able to query a web page, transfer to support, which will be another assistant, and then ban users in case they end up being inappropriate. Then the escalation assistant, which will just be a sub assistant of the main one, will be able to transfer to live chat, create a ticket in a help desk, and update the user profile with the email that it collects. And then finally, I'll show how to use a conversation completed handler, which is just a normal flow that can run after the assistant is done with its job. And it can do things like write data collected during the process to a CRM or anywhere else you want to go. In this case, we'll just do a Google Sheet, but you can put the data anywhere you want. And then we'll touch on deployment. So there's a bunch of different ways you can deploy these, and we'll show a few of them. All right, so that's it. Here's some resources that Yasin will send in the chat, and we'll also send an email afterwards with these. So these are just articles that you can use. So let me go right into it.